Ever feel like you're just drowning in information about money, but you still can't quite grab the bits that actually matter, the things that could really change your financial life?
Yeah, it's overwhelming. So much noise out there.
Totally. Well, you're not alone. Today, we're doing a deep dive that's, well, hopefully your shortcut. We're unpacking the core ideas from Why We Want You to Be Rich. It's that book by Donald Trump and Robert Kiyosaki.
Which is, an interesting pairing right off the bat, kind of unexpected. You
Definite.
got this, like, big real estate guy, famous for his deals, and then Kiyosaki, the rich dad, poor dad guy, all about financial literacy and entrepreneurship.
Right.
But they came together because they were both seeing these financial pressures hitting everyday people, and their different backgrounds actually give maybe a richer view.
Yeah, a more nuanced look for sure. So let's talk about them briefly. Donald Trump, obviously, most people know. Robert Kiyosaki, as you said, behind Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That whole series really put financial literacy on the map for, well, tons of people.
Huge impact.
So despite these, very different paths, they found this common ground in the book. And our mission today, it's really to pull out their key insights for you. We want you to finish this understanding their main arguments and hopefully get some practical stuff to think about.
And stepping back, just them doing this book together, it kind of signals something, doesn't it? Like this
Yeah.
widespread feeling, forget politics, just this sense that the economic game has sort of tilted.
Hmm.
And their book really tries to tackle that feeling, that unease, head on.
Okay, so let's dive into that tilted playing field then, because that's where they start. Their main point, it's pretty blunt.
Yeah, it is, basically.
Ads.
The rich are getting richer, pulling further ahead, and the middle class is facing some real headwinds.
And what do they say is driving that? What's the cause?
They point to this like fundamental difference in understanding how the wealthy think about and use money. They argue the rich have a much better grip on taxes, on different investment options, and they use financial tools in ways that maybe the average person just doesn't know about, or maybe doesn't have access to the same advice.
And they're pretty critical, aren't they, of that standard advice, go to school, get a good, safe job, save your money.
Oh, very critical. They basically say, look, that might have worked, maybe for your parents or grandparents, but today,
Yeah.
the economy's different. That old path,
Yeah.
it's not enough. You need a different approach.
Which raises that big question, like, how reliable is that traditional path now? They list out some specific threats they see for the middle class, really.
Yeah, they do. Things like rising debt loads, credit cards, student loans. Then there's inflation, just quietly eating away at your money's value. And job security. It's just not what it was. The whole idea of a job for life with a solid pension waiting at the end, that's becoming, well, pretty rare.
A relic, almost.
Exactly, a
All
relic.
right.
So all this means that they argue you have to fundamentally rethink how you manage your finances. You can't just rely on the old ways.
Okay, so they paint this picture. It's maybe a bit sobering. What's their motivation then for writing the book? It can't just be pointing out the problem.
No, not at all. Their core drive, they say, is empowerment. To inspire people, you listening, to actually take charge of your own financial future proactively.
And the key to that is education.
Education, that's the word they use over and over. It's not about handouts. It's about giving people the knowledge, the tools to build wealth themselves.
So grabbing the reins yourself, and they link that financial independence to like broader freedom in life, don't they?
Absolutely. They make a very direct connection. Being financially independent isn't just about having X amount of dollars. It's about freedom. Freedom to choose, freedom to pursue things you care about, maybe even freedom to help others more effectively.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, you mentioned education. That seems to be a huge theme, like maybe the most important piece for them.
It really is central. And what's interesting is how they critique the traditional school system. They basically say, look, schools are great at academics, maybe teaching specific job skills,
Sure.
but they fall short, massively short, they argue, on teaching practical, real-world money skills, how money actually works.
Okay, so when they say financial education, what does that actually mean to them? It's got to be more than just like balancing a checkbook, right?
Oh, way more. Yeah.
Yeah.
For them, it's about understanding the fundamentals. Like what's an asset? Something that puts money in your pocket. What's a liability? Something that takes money out.
Simple but powerful.
Right. And understanding income, expenses, and crucially, learning to actually read financial statements, like a balance sheet, an income statement, things business owners use.
And they talk about developing financial intelligence. That sounds like it's different from just being smart academic there.
Exactly. That's a key distinction they make. It's not about your IQ score. Financial intelligence is practical smarts about money. It's applying financial knowledge to make good decisions in the real world.
Right.
And a big part of that is thinking less like an employee, just trading time for money, and more like a business owner or an investor.
Thinking like a business owner, that's a big shift for a lot of people, myself included sometimes. What does that actually look like?
Well, it means looking for opportunities, right? Understanding risk versus reward, building systems that generate income, maybe a side business, maybe investments.
Mm-hmm.
And it also gets into understanding taxes, not dodging them, but understanding the rules so you can legally minimize what you owe, kind of like how wealthier people or corporations might structure things. Tax efficiency.
Right. Okay. Now, something else they really stress is your network. Mentors, coaches, even just the people you hang out with.
Yeah, this is huge for them, a cornerstone, really. They believe strongly that getting guidance from mentors, people who've already done what you want to do financially, can just save you so much time and pain. Avoid costly mistakes.
Learn from their experience.
Exactly. And both Trump and Kiyosaki share stories in the book about mentors they had. It's not just theory for them.
And it's not just finding like a formal mentor, is it? They talk about your peer group too, the everyday people around you.
Oh, definitely. They emphasize how much your social circle influences your mindset, your habits, even your financial results. Their advice is basically, try to spend time with people who are knowledgeable about money, who are ambitious, positive,
Yeah.
and maybe, gently distance yourself from constant negativity or people who just don't get what you're trying to achieve financially.
Okay, this next idea really, it struck me. Their view on work, it's not just about the paycheck.
Not at all. This is classic Kiyosaki, but Trump echoes it too. They argue you should look at work differently. Yes, you need to earn money, obviously, but also see it as a place to learn crucial skills.
What kind of spills?
Skills like sales, understanding how to persuade and sell is vital. Marketing, leadership, investing itself is a skill. Communication. These are things that build wealth long-term, no matter your job title.
And Kiyosaki often talks about like taking different jobs, maybe even for less pay sometimes, specifically to learn one of those skills, right?
Exactly. See your job, especially early on or during transitions, as like paid education. You're getting paid to learn sales or learn management or learn how deals are structured. It's a strategic view, not just about the immediate salary.
Now, entrepreneurship, starting a business, that can feel pretty scary for many, but they really position it as a major path to wealth.
They absolutely do. They see owning a business as one of the most direct ways to gain control over your financial life. Plus, there are potential tax advantages and just the sheer potential for growth that's often capped in a regular job.
But they also acknowledge the risk, right? Failure is possible.
Oh yeah, they don't sugarcoat that, but they frame failure differently, not as the end, but as like necessary feedback. Part of the learning process, if you want to be an entrepreneur, the trick is to learn from it and keep going.
Okay. So once you're trying to grow wealth, they talk a lot about investing strategically, and real estate gets a lot of attention.
Yes, real estate is big for both of them, though maybe from slightly different angles. They really emphasize its potential for wealth building, usually focusing on properties that generate income, like rentals.
Cash flow.
Exactly, cash flow.
Yeah.
And using leverage, borrowing money smartly to buy more assets. Now, leverage is a double-edged sword. It amplifies gains and losses, so you have to understand it.
Right. Critical point. And they keep coming back to that asset versus liability distinction in investing, too.
Constantly. It's core to the rich dad philosophy. Focus on buying assets, things that put money in your pocket, like that rental property generating income.
Yeah.
Avoid piling up liabilities, things that take money out, like, say, a fancy car bought on a high-interest loan.
Simple concept, hard to execute sometimes.
Can be. And they also stress not putting all your eggs in one basket. Diversification. Multiple income streams.
Right. So it's not just your job or just real estate.
Exactly. They advocate building several streams of income. Maybe income from a business, plus income from real estate, plus dividends from stocks, maybe royalties from something you created. It builds resilience. If one stream dries up, you're not wiped out.
Creates a safety net. Makes sense. Okay, two areas that often feel complicated.
Yeah.
Debt and taxes. What's their take there?
Well, on debt, they make that crucial distinction. Good debt versus bad debt. Good debt is borrowing money to buy an asset that Hopefully it goes up in value or produces income like a mortgage on a rental property.
Okay.
Bad debt is borrowing for things that lose value or just get consumed,
Yeah.
like most credit card debt for, dinners and clothes. They see good debt as a tool the wealthy use.
A tool, interesting. And taxes.
Again, it's about understanding the rules,
Yeah.
not fighting illegal loopholes, but understanding tax laws so you can structure your business, your investments, your finances in a way that legally minimizes your tax bill,
Oh.
using the incentives the government offers. It's about efficiency.
So they lay out all this knowledge, all these ideas, but it's not enough just to know it, is it? They push for action.
Absolutely. That's maybe the final critical piece.
Yeah.
Knowledge without action is, well, useless in their view. You have to actually do something with what you learn.
And they suggest starting small. It doesn't have to be some huge life-altering thing on day one.
Yeah, definitely. Start small, practical steps. Read a book on finance, maybe theirs, maybe others. Attend a seminar. Talk to someone who knows about investing. Find a potential mentor. Just start.
Take responsibility.
Exactly. Take personal responsibility and start now, even if it's tiny. Don't wait.
So to kind of wrap it all up, they actually summarize their core principles near the end of the book. Can you give us the quick rundown?
Sure. They boil it down to 5 main things. First, mindset shift. Think like an owner or investor, not just an employee.
Amazing.
Second, education. Keep learning about money forever. Third, take calculated risks. Don't be reckless, but understand risk is necessary for growth. Fourth, build assets. Focus on things that generate cash flow. And fifth, be proactive. Take initiative. Make things happen.
Mindset, education, calculated risks, build assets, be proactive. Got it.
That's the framework they offer.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into why we want you to be rich, the big takeaway seems clear. It's really a strong call to action, isn't it? Take control, educate yourself, and then, crucially, do something.
That's the heart of it, I think. Change your thinking, get the knowledge, and then apply it consistently through strategic choices and, just sustained effort over time.
Right. And maybe on that note, here's something for you, the listener, to think about. What's just one small but, significant step you could actually commit to taking, maybe even today? Could be shifting your mindset slightly, could be enhancing your financial knowledge in some way.
Yeah, maybe it's just looking up one term you didn't understand today, or brainstorming who could be a mentor, or just blocking out 15 minutes this week to read a finance article.
Small steps.
Exactly. Small steps. Because this path, building financial well-being, it's a journey, right?
Yeah.
It's ongoing learning, ongoing action. So stay curious, keep exploring, and keep taking those proactive steps towards whatever financial future you're aiming for.